and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a swearing in of one member, Ruth Ann Moore.
Please stand and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Ruth Ann Moore, do solemnly swear
I, Ruth Ann Moore, do solemnly swear
that I will uphold
that I will uphold
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and that I will faithfully and impartially perform
that I will faithfully and impartially perform
my duties as a member
my duties as a member
of the Planning Commission of the Town of Bargersville,
of the Planning Commission of the Town of Bargersville,
Johnson County, Indiana,
Johnson County, Indiana,
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
Thank you.
Okay. We will do roll call now, starting to my right audibly.
Jeff Sickmeyer.
Mark Dietel.
James Formell.
Ruth Ann Moore.
Eric Arnold. Thank you. Minutes. We have the January 17th, 2022 minutes.
I have an addition to the minutes. During the discussion for docket plat 303, 2021 Copper Meadows primary plat, Mr. Dietel asked why the Silverthorne product was not considered for that particular development. And Ms. Hessen, representing Arbor Homes in Silverthorne, stated that the development was in a different school district. That influenced the decision. I'd like the minutes to reflect that, please.
And you said that was during the plat 307?
Yes, plat 307 after public hearing during discussion.
Any other notes or possible revisions, comments? January 17th, 2022 minutes. Would like to make a motion based on that addition.
I would move to approve the minutes from the January 17th, 2022 as amended.
I will second that.
We have a first and a second. Any other comments or questions about the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor, beginning to my right, audibly.
Yes, Jeff Sickmeyer.
Mark Dietel, yes.
James Ramel, yes.
Ruth Ann Moore, yes.
Okay, thank you. Reports and recommendations.
No reports and recommendations tonight, so we'll move on to our old business item, which is docket plat -307-2021, Copper Meadows primary plat. Petitioner is requesting primary plat approval to develop a 106 lot residential subdivision. The subject property is located directly north and west of 250 East 2 Cent Road. The property is zoned R3. Petitioner is Arbor Homes. The owners are George T. Masson, Elizabeth K. Nunziato, and Margaret M. Lauer. The Plan Commission held a primary plat public hearing on this case last month and received comments from the public. The commissioners had questions and feedback on the design of the primary plat, including removing the northwestern connection to East Street and Old South Street and replacing it with a 10-foot wide asphalt path. There were also comments on green space, open space. The petitioner changed some common area sizes. I'll let them go into that further in their presentation. And this reduced the overall lot number to 106.
Just in time. Just started, at least on the important stuff.
Okay.
Well, no, we had a really important new members. Yeah.
So we have in your staff report, as well as on the screen, the revised primary plat, as well as the criteria for primary plat approval, meeting the subdivision control ordinance regarding street standards, lot standards, utilities, and drainage. With this in mind, staff is recommending that the Plan Commission approve the primary plat with the conditions that all tech comments are addressed and final approval of the Stormwater Utility Board is granted. Petitioner is here tonight to give a presentation and answer any questions. They did at with the continuance from last month, they did re-advertise as the commission instructed. I'll defer to legal on if this is, if a public hearing needs to be formally reopened or not.
Yeah, traditionally, if we allow the petitioner to present additional materials, then we also open it up for the public, but technically, you've already had a public hearing, so you don't have to.
Yeah, I think we'll go ahead. Anybody at this time, before I actually open up for public hearing and before the petitioner speaks first, anybody that would like to talk when we open the public hearing, if you could please stand up, raise your right hand, and I just need to swear you in. So if anybody's liking to speak, if you could please stand up, raise your right hand. And do you swear that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, the next process is has the petitioner to come up and speak to the commission, and then the commission members, we may have some questions. And then once we complete that, then we'll open the actual public hearing.
Hello, my name's Caitlin Dofer, Senior Entitlement Manager for Arbor Homes. Just to give a brief overview of the updates we made since last month and since we filed this primary plat. We did start with, I believe, 108 lots with a connection going north and another stub street going east to Commerce Grove Boulevard. Based off of our last Plan Commission meeting, we heard concerns about the stub street going north, so that has been removed. We now show a 10-foot wide asphalt path, so there is at least a pedestrian connection. With the removal of that stub street, we did lose one lot going up there. We also heard concerns about adequate open space and amenities, and so we did add some usable open space in the form of a playground and picnic area. Overall, like staff said, this plat is in compliance with the zoning ordinance and subdivision control ordinance. And we welcome any questions or comments that you have.
The playground area and the picnic that you have actually have highlighted on ours, that was actually on last month's plat as well, correct?
Do you have the previous plat?
I'm looking at it
Oh, you are?
from January.
Those common areas were there, but those amenities were not considered those common areas. We heard concerns on adding those amenities, and we did so.
Oh, okay. So when you say amenities, what do you mean? What kind of amenities?
A 4,500 square foot playground and a 15 by 15 shelter with barbecue pit, picnic tables for a gathering spot.
Any questions by the commission?
Public hearing back at home.
Well, we'll definitely, I think right now we have the petitioner to speak, and then the members of the commission can ask any questions, or we can go straight to the public hearing if you'd like to go straight to the public hearing.
I've got some comments around it.
Okay. Can you hear us okay, Eric and Tirza?
Yep.
Okay.
My question for later.
Okay. 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 I think at this time, we'd like to open the public hearing. The open public hearing is for docket plat 000-307-2021 Copper Meadows primary plat is now open. If you'd like to speak to the commission, please come up to the podium and state your name and your address. And we'll take notes, and then after everybody's done speaking, we'll have the petitioner come up and address comments and concerns together.
Hi, my name is Debbie Leonard. I live at 174 South Baldwin Street. It's right on the corner of Baldwin and South. I have been there for, be 30 years this June. I am here tonight to ask the Advisory Plan Commission Board to think about a few things when it comes to Copper Meadows. And I was also going to say about the senior housing addition and apartment complex, but since that's more or less settled, so.
Well, no, technically, it's just not on the agenda tonight.
Yeah, well, that's fine. We'll stick with Copper Meadows. All right, first, let's talk traffic. Not only does the people here living in Bargersville now, but then you're wanting to add, 500 to 1,000 more people with all these extra buildings and house additions and stuff. And you want to bring to Bargersville. There's too much strain on any roads that are near these projects, like 2 Cent Road, State Road 135, Baldwin Street, South Street, East Street, Harriman Street. We need to look at the cost to fix the problems now, not add more problems later, and then try to fix them. Second, let's talk about drainage. I have been here for over 30 years now. Baldwin and South Street get flooded every time it rains more than a few hours. There's 38 houses on Baldwin Street, from South Street to 2 Cent Street. And there's been several attempts to fix the drainage problem, but still not 100%. And it's been over 30 years. And if you think by adding 3 new projects, just a few hours of rain adding 3 more projects, adding 3 more projects. Just this last week, after the rain we had, just a few hours, the street department of Bargersville had to come, bring a bulldozer or backhoe, because it has the battery to it, hooked up a pump and pumped the water off of South Street onto Baldwin Street, which made Baldwin Street, even more flooded. And if Arbor Homes thinks coming in, bringing a housing addition of 106 homes is going to fix the problem by putting a retention pond, I don't think so. As the town, the third is safety. As the town is growing, it brings growth, and that brings little ones, which is good. We all know that little ones need a place to play. They need a playground. This added addition, well, where's all the little ones going to go with this new addition? Yes, you said you're going to put the little playground, but the park on the corner of East Street and South Street, it barely covers what we have now from Baldwin, Carlisle, East Street, and you want to add more. It'll bring 5, maybe 10 times more kids. Then the middle and the older kids that are 10 to 17, what are they planning to do? You have nothing for them, because by the time they're that old, they don't want to play on a playground. They need something to go do, and we have nothing for them. Why? It's been this long. Why haven't we had something for them to do? Fourth, parking. From April to December in the town of Bargersville, there are events that not only the town of Bargersville can enjoy, but people outside of Bargersville. And there's so many people. The parking is now nowhere to be found. From the death on taxes, the farmer's market, Bargersville's Christian annual car show and fish fry, to Santa train. These events bring lots of people to Bargersville, which is great, but the people who don't live in Bargersville, they don't know where to park. So what do? They park in streets, they park in people's yards. They parked in my yard, which has been a mess. I have a solution. You like this? I come with a solution. Vision 2040, which, by the way, Bargersville came up with on July of 2017. I saw it on the website. It's really cool. Did a lot of reading. Take the land of Copper Meadows, and and buy the land, have the town buy the land of Copper Meadows, plus buy the land next to the church. Build a new street right there from 144 to 2 Cent Road. That way, all of your traffic, even if with the new housing addition, can leap right on there. Won't put any strain on Baldwin Street anymore. No strain on East Street, no strain on South Street. And it takes away all that. I'd like to see the town take that area, which is, to me, I don't know how you feel, but it's the only land that is left that is really what you call in Bargersville, if you tell the inside of Bargersville that's left. I think it would be neat if we could have a community center, a new town hall, a senior center, a library, a skate park, a dog park. You know, I think this land is central. But the best thing of all, it's going to fix our parking problem because that land will have plenty of parking for all the things that we're going to do. And it'll cut back traffic, and it'll help, I feel, with strains that are going on everywhere because you're opening up a new street, you're taking off of other things. My last but not least, I hope I have given the Plan Commission Board some things to think about. Bargersville has the small town charm of a rural farming community. You, as the board, can help us keep this small town charm by rejecting these 3 projects, or at least rejecting compromise and giving the town something to look forward to. I'm a little nervous. I'm not much on public speaking. So, okay, thank you.
Thanks, Debbie.
Thanks.
Ready?
Yes, sir.
My name is Randall Turner. I live at 499 South Baldwin Street, just starting my 34th year at that residence. The thing that bothers me about this proposal, it's like the tail wagging the dog. They come in and say, we want to put 106 houses on this property. Originally, it was 108, but they whittled it all the way down to 106. So I'm not so sure that they're conforming with the R3 zoning that exists on this property. They haven't mentioned that anywhere in their dialogue. They're not saying that we're building this out to R3 specs. And when you figure 106 houses on this property, that averages almost out to 3 houses per acre. And that's too dang dense. Really, if you reject this, you might be doing that builder a favor because I don't see a lot of people coming in down here looking at a postage stamp size lot and want to spend about $300,000 for a house on it. The neighbor's house is only going to be a few feet away from it, and that stinks. Another thing, they're making no effort to make this a quality project. It's strictly a quantity project. You got to see that. 106 acres or 106 houses on that many acres is just ridiculous. And another thing that bothers me is they're showing a little road that feeds right into the misnamed Commerce Grove. Like, hey, well, this is a done deal. We know you guys are going to approve this, so we're going to show that road going into Commerce Grove from so-called Copper Meadows. So it's got a little bit of an odor to it to me. The whole thing doesn't make sense. It's not going to be a good thing for the town. They're making no attempt, as I say, to make it a quality subdivision. It's quantity all the way.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
My name's Russell Skaggs. I live at 688 Old Plank Road, Franklin. I come before you again to plead with you to not approve this. it's just I don't think it does anything for the quality of life for the people, the current residents of Bargersville. There's going to be people on the east side of Baldwin Street going to have a mosquito pond right in their back door. I don't think that does much for anyone's quality of life. And this number of people, the last time I was here, I asked about how many people and cars were going to be, did they think was going to be in this. I never got an answer from anyone. Just an estimate would have been great. But I just don't understand why they think this is a good project for Bargersville. I don't think there's anyone here that would like this built next door to them or in their backyard. So I just would like to plead with you one more time to turn this down. And then maybe Arbor Homes can go on down the road and someone will come along and build a nice addition in there. An oak rail type addition would be really, really nice there. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening. William Woolman, 1627 West 75th Place. Family Farm is 3511 West, Road 200 North, Bargersville. I came through here today, right before I came here, as a matter of fact, and looked at the pond that's right behind Baldwin Street. My concern is if they did raise that, you're going to end up flooding out the people on Baldwin Street. But also, I know it's coming. Bargersville's growing. I know that. Do we have to have that many houses? How about a gated community? A nice gated community with 5 or 6 houses would be acceptable to me. It's coming. I understand that. But to have 106 cars come out of that little bitty section of property is going to be a lot. Because number one, I travel on 2 Cent Road with my tractor. As I stated last time, I travel on 2 Cent Road because I live underneath the bridge by our farm. So that means I'm going to be taking on this traffic from these people here. Also the addition that's going in before that, plus the apartments if approved. We need to do something with the traffic to begin with because it's terrible, as people have stated before, without these additions on 2 Cent Road. We've got people coming through there. The speed limit's 30. I got flipped off doing 18 miles an hour on a tractor on that road by somebody who blew by me, went down into the ditch to pass me. Now that's without these additions on here. And we're going to be tacking on those people now. Now also is we've got all the sewer coming in. We've also got the water, which isn't really this, but we're getting water from Indianapolis right now without these additions. We also have the sewage treatment plant, which is almost at capacity. And the schools, the elementary school is almost at capacity where these children would be going to right now. The pattern that they have here on the traffic, it doesn't match. It doesn't matter. It doesn't match what you're trying to get. I don't understand how you pack that many houses in here because you're going to have the fire trucks, if they ever have to come in there, you're going to have traffic parked on one side only, I'm sure, like they did the other additions. We need to look at everything if you're going to pack these people in here. Again, I would appreciate it if you didn't. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, that closes the public hearing for DACA plat 000-307-2021 Copper Meadows primary plat. The petitioner now has an opportunity to come up and speak on the items that are for the citizens, members of the community have communicated regarding their concerns.
Sure. So thank you to everyone who spoke and voiced your concerns. We do appreciate everything you have to say, and we welcome the opportunity to address some of those. I think it's important to note that this property is already zoned R3. So while the Vision 2040 plan, it is a great plan, and we did take that into account too. The plan does call for this property to be single-family residential, and the zoning is already R3. So we are proposing a primary plat that is in keeping and in compliance with the R3 standards. Specifically, the comment on density of R3 and that 3 units an acre is too dense for that zoning. The R3 zoning allows for up to 6 units an acre. So we are well within the allowable density in this zoning district. There was a comment on traffic concerns. With every single home that is built here, each home is going to have to pay a traffic impact fee, which will go towards improving the roads in the area. So I will defer to Joe on what that specific fee is, and then just multiply that by 106 units. That is the total traffic impact fee payment that this project is going to make. There's also a park impact fee, which helps go towards park improvements for the town. Every single home will have to pay that park impact fee. Multiply that by 106, and that's the total contribution there. And as for the Commerce Grove connection, it is our understanding that that project does have an approved primary plat. And so we have designed this plat to be in compliance and with their approved primary plat in mind. And so that is why you do see that connection to the east. Let's see. I believe that covers everything. Happy to answer any questions that Plan Commission has.
Drainage? I don't know if you
Oh,
commented on
thank you.
drainage.
Yes, so our plans are designed by engineers. And the very first thing they take into account is where the water naturally wants to go. And so that is why you see the detention pond on the left-hand side. Once we determine that, then we build the road network around it. So drainage has been factored in, and it should improve with this development. By law, we cannot make drainage worse in the area. We have to capture all of the water that comes onto our property, contain it, and release it at an acceptable rate. And that is part of the construction plan review, where drainage is specifically looked at.
I thought Mrs. Leonard had a good comment regarding 144 and 2 Cent Road connectivity. What about stubbing the street to the north that would eventually connect through that potential commercial that has 600 linear feet of road frontage on 144? Has that been considered? Mrs. Leonard brought that up from a standpoint of connecting 144 and 2 Cent Road, which would accomplish that.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to see an aerial view to have a better understanding of what that would look like. I'm not sure if that's possible.
I just thought that was a good suggestion. I had actually had it in my mind too.
Well, it's just to take
Sure.
off the traffic off of Baldwin and East Street and South Street. So if you make this new street, there's the second thing that they need. So there you go. Just build a street and get it off of Baldwin and East and South. So there's not so much, like a thing going. But thank you. I'm glad you like the idea.
You've already commented on drain. We just talked about drainage. Oh, and I think from a clarification standpoint, what's the elementary south? Would these kids go to the elementary Union? That's where they would go, right? I don't have any statistics regarding the capacity of that particular elementary and what the stats are there.
I don't know the capacity.
I know Center Grove, but I don't know Franklin.
I do know that the Franklin has recently gone through a redistricting when this and Commerce Grove were filed. So their redistricting did take into account these 2 developments.
Gotcha.
And do you know where the kids will go to school? Have they actually completed that redistricting process?
I don't know the status of the redistricting.
The choices are school south of Bargersville, there's Union Township, or practically all the way to Franklin, right?
Yeah, it is. I've heard it's pretty well.
So sorry, Mr. Boland, sorry, we don't have that exact information on that school and that capacity, so that was a good point.
Yeah, I know it's not at capacity right now, but it's close.
Okay,
I know if it does get to capacity, they will have sewage problems. That is a concern.
at that facility, okay. Okay, the petitioner answered to the best of their ability the concerns and questions from the public. Now the members of the commission have an opportunity to further ask questions of the petitioner based on anything that's been discussed to date or anything that hasn't been discussed.
One thing is, I know R3 has standards. What kind of buffer would be behind these lots 66, 65, 64? And I know R3 has standards. I just haven't seen anything.
Which ones are those on the
The farthest northern lots,
It's the ones closest to the park.
do we see any buffer there at all?
Yeah.
What's there? So it's very visual from Old Line.
There would be a required, required buffer C2R.
For C2R,
It's residential zoning to the north, which typically doesn't require buffering. Residential zoning to residential zoning.
Wait, that
Well,
front
it's
is not
church and park.
residential.
But it's,
That's ag still.
this is still ag.
Yeah.
Residential and ag doesn't require a buffer as far as the zoning ordinance.
So it's commercial to residential, is that right, Joe?
I have a
commercial to
comment.
residential and industrial to residential, or commercial to industrial. When you see those use changes is when those required buffers come to.
My only other question, I did comment on the last meeting about these back lots, about adding on to the park. Was that discussed? Was that even, I mean, that was one of my concerns, where the park is there, where they're putting this golf cart trail now, which would be a walkway, which my suggestion was is to at least put it on the table to add on to that park with that lot 66 or 65. And at least, was that talked about? Was that, I mean, I see a 4,500 square foot, is that Mark, 1225 by 180, something like that? Is that
Yeah,
4,500?
1/10 of an acre.
Yeah, that's, I mean, this was already
Little
a
over.
common area, so I just, what, was that discussed? I mean, I brought that up.
Mhm.
I'd like to think that was discussed. If it wasn't, it wasn't, but.
Sure. So with removing the stub street, we did end up losing a lot. So unfortunately, we are not able to lose any more lots with this project
And why is that?
from a feasibility standpoint.
Feasibility based upon what the economics of the project?
Correct.
So you're saying that whether we have an extension or an expanded park, using up 2 more lots, we need to be concerned about your profit margin instead of what's best for the town of Bargersville. Is that what you just said?
We are a for-profit business, so that is something we consider.
Okay, so 2 lots makes this not feasible.
It does get dangerously close.
One thing I want to reiterate is the reason these values are so high is because of our town.
Mhm.
So that's the reason that you're here. So, I mean, to say that we can't put additional parks, we already had small token things that it's a feasibility, I just can't accept that. Can't accept that. So I'm ready to move on.
Eric and Tirzit, we're at a point where you're able to ask questions of the petitioner after the public hearing. I just want to make sure you guys have that opportunity since you're virtual.
Sure, you stole my thunder, Mark, with your comment on the stuff out to the future commercial lot on 144 that I thought we had talked about that last month. I thought it in my head and it never actually came out anywhere, but I thought the individual that mentioned that if they're talking to that point, I think that's something I would like to see out of this. It's, you know, that a future use of connectivity when that site begins to develop.
For my own clarification, would that be
But
a,
it sounds like that's not doable. If losing one lot for a golf cart path or things, then I can only imagine what a road stub would do.
for my own clarification, would that stub be on our property and then stopping at that property to the north?
Yeah, it would be similar to what I think you have Commerce Grove Boulevard, you know, that type of a option. Are you closing on, is part of the, and you may not be able to speak on this, if you can, I respect that. Is that property up there to the north a part of your contract?
No, it is not.
Okay. I didn't think it was. I thought we had addressed that, but. Tirza, any comments?
Can I have one?
Just a second, give each of the commission members an opportunity to talk after the open hearing and the comments. Does Tirza hear us, or I guess is any, I guess Jeff, are you?
Microphone issue.
And it's a microphone issue.
Okay. Yeah, I want to give everybody an opportunity. I'll go ahead and make a few comments. I don't know if my comments necessarily have a direct or indirect impact on Tirza. I still continue to have a concern because because the traffic study is still open-ended. I think that's clear as far as if this stub from Commerce Boulevard doesn't happen, then we have a one entry subdivision. Obviously, they could move forward, but they would be halted at 50 lots, according to my conversation with Joe. So I think that's still too much up in the air. I respect the fact that there's cooperation there, and I respect the fact that there is a plat that's been approved, but I think the likelihood of the owners to the east going forward with the current plat is very much in question. That's a concern. I think from my perspective, it's important to look at this, all this as a whole. I just want to step away from the fact that, okay, we have this one little, I don't want to say little, pardon me, we have this one residential subdivision and not really understanding how it impacts between, I like to call it Newtown out at 135 and 144, and then Old Town, and how that connectivity is going to look, because this is going to have an impact on it. I still think it's very important for the town to look at this from a town infrastructure standpoint, because I think it has a significant impact, especially on the public ways, specifically the streets, the traffic. 2 cent and 135, I think, is critical. It already has heavy traffic, and there doesn't seem to be any solution on the table from either one of the petitioners, even though we don't have, that's not related tonight, but from this petitioner, no real comment or even the slight concern. So again, traffic flow on 2 Cent Road still really heavy. I think we need to address it. And it just seems like there's still just too many unknowns here. So those are some of my concerns that I want to make sure I say publicly, and the commission, other commission members hear me to speak along those lines. So.
Hi, this is Tirza.
Hi, Tirza.
Microphone issues earlier, sorry about that.
No, that's good.
My concern is still the active green space. I don't consider the common area F or A, B, C, D, G, or H really enough space for people to be in their community. What if you don't want to go to the park and you just want to do something there? Is there a way to push out the houses where you see 40 through 67 so that the common area can come inside the actual community? And in terms of density, I'm pretty sure most people have more than one car in their home. So it's not just 106 cars coming out of there, but it would be possibly twice that. So what are you doing to address that particular issue as well?
So every home does come with a 2-car garage, and then we do have 3-car garage options as well for those families that wish to have more garage space. There will be street parking as well, but we're comfortable with restricting that to one side of the street to allow for plenty of access on those residential streets.
How are you addressing the active green space?
The active green space, we did add a playground and a picnic and barbecue area, as well as a 10-foot wide asphalt path from last month.
I understand that, but that's in addition to the park that's already there, correct?
Correct.
So what I'm asking is if you don't want to go to the park and you just want to do things in your actual community, you want your kids where you can see them, what can you do in order to address that?
I think it's important to keep in mind that every home is going to have their own private backyard. And some of these lots are rather large, and that's going to provide opportunities for outdoor entertaining, outdoor living. So in addition to the playground, picnic and barbecue area, families can also enjoy their own backyards, in addition to the community of Bargersville.
Where common area F is, there would be in backyard of several houses. So oftentimes that's usually an issue for a lot of residents. Is there any way to move that to the internal portion of the community and push those houses out?
And a similar question, could the green space be more centrally located and push the entire western line from 40, then 76 through 67 to the west, so that the green space is actually central to the community?
I'm not an engineer, so I can't speak to the feasibility of that, but it's something we can look into.
That was my concern, there's the buffer.
Yes,
That's-
you've got residential
No, but
right there.
Joe keeps saying that buffering is between different uses,
Right,
right?
right.
Required
Yeah.
There wouldn't have to be any, right?
We were trying to provide a bit of a buffer between the back of our yards and the homes on Baldwin Street. In addition, there is a bit of a drainage problem, as a lot of people have talked about. And we have some large storm pipes that are going down the back of, in between the lots and Baldwin Street. We're trying to help correct some curb inlets that were put on South Street that drain to a tile that don't drain. So we're trying to help alleviate that. We're trying to get that down to our lake and drain that out. Without that corridor to go down through there, we're not going to be able to get that drainage out.
The drainage can't go underneath the road with construction.
We're taking flat pipes down through a grass area that wouldn't be able to go underneath the road.
Yeah, we don't permit infrastructure to be underneath the road.
Did you have questions or comment? Mr. Sherman? Did you want to speak?
You want to speak, Randy? Do you want to speak?
You know, they're talking about a playground and barbecue area, and I'm looking at this plot plan, and I don't see a spot on it where there's enough room to do any of what she's talking about. There is not an amenity anywhere in this proposal, not a single one.
I think that's a fair statement. They, what they handed to us, which unfortunately it doesn't show, but I will point out, I'm not agreeing with it. They're representing this to be a playground, and they're representing this to be a barbecue picnic area.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So
I can see kids going up there to play in that busy place. And that's my comment.
I'm not saying I disagree with you, but that's what they handed us, so you don't have a copy of it, I guess. I could give them a copy. Does any other members of the commission have any other questions?
I wanted to address a couple things here, if I may. There's been a lot of concern expressed about traffic. And you just addressed how you believe traffic is handled, the number of cars handled within the addition. my question for you is 2 Cent Road, and then in turn, 2 Cent Road intersection with 135 is something that we pressed very hard last month when the Commerce Grove development came before us, and that got continued while they go back and have to address traffic. My question to you is, are you in coordination with the Commerce Grove development to deal with the 2 Cent Road? Because it sounded like your response was, well, everybody's gonna have to pay a road impact fee, so that'll cover it. Except that's not how the road impact fee works. The road impact fee just goes into a fund to be applied anywhere within the district. Road impact fee is coordinated with the county. Whatever is collected out of this, not a dime of that may go to 2 Cent Road. So my question to you is, have you coordinated with the development to the east of you in respect to yet another traffic study to deal with 2 Cent Road and how 2 Cent Road comes back into the town, Baldwin Street and so on, and then to the east to 135?
Lance, can you speak to any coordination we've had with Commerce Grove?
We have had a lot of coordination with Commerce Grove. I just talked, we've been exchanging voicemails and emails and texts, unfortunately. But I want to correct something. They were denied last meeting. Their revised plat was denied, so it fell back to.
Nothing was addressed on 2 Cent Road.
What's that?
I said that plat did not address anything on 2 Cent Road.
So
They actually removed their ingress egress to 2 Cent Road.
So it reverted back to their approved plat, which has an entrance on a 2 Cent Road. Now, there may be some meetings, they may be looking to modify that, but I can't really speak to what they are going to do or not do. Their traffic study did take into account 2 Cent Road, took into account 135, it took into account the connection to East Street, which has been removed, South Street, East Street. So they're modifying that to just make sure that the traffic levels still work on the proposed roundabout on 135. But 2 Cent Road, what we're doing is what is required, which is a passing blister and XL decel lanes on 2 Cent Road.
Okay, then thank you. I have the same concerns about green space. Clipping off corners and calling that green space doesn't look like any thought has gone into how people are going to live, especially people with kids. It sounded like what Mrs. Martin suggested, pushing you can't do because of the drainage underneath the common area F. Is there a way to actually create real green space, centrally located, with playground and picnic area and barbecue, grill, and so on, to actually make something central to the community? Is that possible?
We do think the locations proposed are central to the community. When we decide locations of amenities, we try to keep in mind that we don't want them to be completely surrounded by lots, because amenity areas do tend to be a little noisier. And so having common area C, for example, located across from a pond, not completely surrounded by lots, and it is relatively centrally located to the overall subdivision. We thought that was a good natural location, easily accessible. And then common area A, it's across from Lake 1, across from a little bit of open space between lot 39 and 41. And with it being more located towards the front of the subdivision, from a sales standpoint, that's a nice feature to see as home buyers drive through the subdivision, is they see that amenity location. So we did give some thought to the amenity locations.
What side is common area A? Roughly.
Lance, do you?
Common area,
that
oh.
number?
What size is common area A?
We're going to put a primary plat up on the screen.
Does Tirza and Eric they don't have this, right?
That was handed to you this evening.
Right. Right. You might want to tell Terry that we think it's approximately 4,500 square feet, probably similar to C.
That is.
If you don't count well, no, they're counting this buffer down below, buffer with the parking or with the traffic center, Bargersville. See that? It's long, it's bigger, but
They do have the city drawing, just not
not
highlighted.
subdivided.
You have to go back and forth between here.
Yeah.
what's described
Is this
here.
something that you can put up on the screen?
We're,
We're working on it, Tirza.
we're gonna put
Thank you.
We're gonna try to get that up without breaking the meeting connection.
Thank you.
You got questions?
I think we need to finish this one before, I've got one more thing I want to discuss.
Is there any way to move, or take out lots 87, 96, 88, 95, 89, 94, 90, and 93? In order to open up space for people to actually be together in their community, not just in the backyard?
No, unfortunately, we cannot afford to lose that many lots.
Is there a reason for that?
From a feasibility standpoint, when we originally filed this primary plat, we were at 108 lots, I believe. We've worked in good faith with staff and plan commission to get this project to a point where the town is more comfortable while still maintaining that we are in compliance with the zoning ordinance and subdivision control ordinance. In the process, we've added amenities, we've lost 2 lots, we've removed a stub street. So unfortunately, we are getting to the point where we can't keep giving. And we do have those common area sizes for you as well.
So I'm looking at this and you can put another lot in where common area C is, you can put another lot in where common area A is, you can put a lot between 38 and 41, that's +3, in order to trade off 1, 2, 3, 4 at least in the very center of the community, and you've got green space centrally located for playground, everything.
We can illustrate that a little bit more by wanting to start with common area A right there. That is a 15 by 15 shelter with barbecue, picnic tables. There is adequate room for that. Common area A itself, someone asked a question on that. All of common area A is 0.56 acres.
Does that include what runs along? That runs down as a buffer on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, lot 5,
Yes,
and then down to the road. Okay.
and wraps around. And if we can go to the next slide, or next sheet, would be fantastic.
Yeah, that's my, just to real quick interject, that's my concern with some of this is we're counting green space as buffer space, and I'm not sure I count that as usable. I mean,
Exactly.
yeah, it's green space, but
It's not active green space.
nobody's gonna go walking along that buffer zone between the town of Bargersville and the backyard and toss a football around with their kid, like,
Exactly.
They could in common area.
I mean, in my opinion, but
I agree.
Common area C, as you can, it's down south of, lot 3 man. There's not, with the setbacks that are required, there's not the availability to get a lot in there. I think you were mentioning a few lots. So that is a very good location for we got a playground, we got several benches, we got a swing set. There's quite a bit of area in there when it's all said and done. You know, you can look at that compared to a lot, and you can just think of a playground equipment so far. That's pretty big. If you go to the north of those, thank you, a little bit more north. Once you get north of lots 83 and 100, with the setback lines, there's not enough room to get a lot in there to get a little house. We turn that into common area. That's actually a pretty big green area. You can definitely throw a football there. You can throw a frisbee. You can go out in common area F, which is very large. You have a game back in there.
I still think that due to the location of common area F, that's not really a space where most people will congregate because it's in people's backyards. You know, that's
There is a sidewalk along South Street and a path we're adding. It seems like it would actually draw people right there. I have to disagree.
And here is where Carlisle, old houses, where there's three houses. That's a small, like an alley. That's where these are, and that's where it's saying this is. They're saying they're gonna build a transfer, but yet you can also throw, this is gonna be their biggest thing. But yet, you don't know exactly what, but you're gonna be, the footballs can be turned into their yards unless they build again, so. I don't think it's it.
Anybody have? Huh? You have some?
Well, I just wanted to reiterate what most of the other commission members have said, my concerns, again, the green space, the traffic, there on Two-Cent Road. I travel that every day to work, so I know how treacherous it is to cross 135, especially during work in the mornings and evenings. The other concern I have is if the development to the right does not step into your Commerce Grove. It's Commerce Grove, and you only have one way in and one way out. And that's a concern to me from a public safety standpoint.
We did have a second way in and out to East Street, but we removed it on the.
I understand. I wouldn't
Advise
have,
the request.
thought that was a good way, because you're dumping into town, on a small little street there. These people, so I know it puts you in a, there's not a good answer to that, but and I think the schools, if it's Union School, that's a very small school. As a matter of fact, my dad graduated from that school. My dad was in his 90s when he passed away, so that's how old that school is. Very small school.
I just had one more thing I'd like to give you an opportunity to speak to. Last month, part of the discussion was talking about what the product was going to be going in there, and you weren't actually at the microphone at the time. One of your colleagues was. And the question was, why not consider your higher product, the Silverthorne product, in that? And your response was because it's a different school district. The decision criteria is different. Could you actually expand upon that? Because at the moment, I was so shocked by that response. I actually missed the next 2 or 3 things that you said. Because I know it's not technically redlining to do something like that, because that has to do with getting a mortgage for it. But you literally drew a line and said that this is a different economic scale, but it's still Bargersville. So you chose a different product, not your upper end product, because it's a different school district.
So several factors go into play, and if I can take a step back on that to look at the bigger picture and where this project originally began, which was a rezone to R4. That was originally for our destination product for the school system, and the destination product being empty nesters. They don't have as big of an impact on the school system. It's all ranch style homes. They like smaller yards because it's low maintenance. So all of that factored into the rezone to allow for the destination product. Unfortunately, that rezone petition was denied. And so we are left with the existing zoning, which is R3, which allows for the size lots that we have proposed. The Silverthorne product, which I believe you're alluding to, it's a larger product, which requires larger lots, which overall would yield a lower amount of lots for this property. So that's why overall Silverthorne was not the ideal product for this location in this project. Now we are proposing Silverthorne in a different area of town. It's a larger community that can handle the larger lots, more amenity space too. So we completely believe that Silverthorne is a great product for Bargersville, just not for this specific property with this size and location.
Silverthorne is smaller lots? I just thought I heard that in reverse.
Sorry, destination is smaller lots because it's
Okay.
ranch style, empty nester, so they don't like a lot of maintenance. So that's why it has smaller lots. And that was associated with the R4.
Is the destination.
No, Silver is
Okay.
what's going on at 135.
135,
Yeah, it's the
okay.
little larger lots.
Yeah, we passed a favorable recommendation for that rezone last month.
Yes.
Any other questions? Anyone from the commission? We have a decision to make as it relates to the development panel. We can, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ellen. We can approve with condition, or deny, or we can always continue.
Correct.
I would ask you just one last time here, whether the north end of this addition, where currently parcels 63 and 64 are, if it could be so configured so that a road stubs to the north to actually provide for connectivity through what is very likely going to be a commercial development between this tract and 144. This could be configured to account for that future inevitability and thereby actually create a traffic flow that improves things instead of makes things worse, because as it's configured, it's going to make things worse.
That's just a follow-up question on that. Could you pull that slightly to the right so you can see that little bit of the property line?
This was discussed earlier in our interaction. Looking for a solution that actually improves the future traffic flow instead of.
Read to the far east. This is called Zinc Drive, and it makes a turn. You mentioned 63, 64, just asking the questions. I want to fully understand the constraints in the question. Could we run that street directly due north and the street just run east-west, tee it into essentially it would be a stub, but it's not the location you're describing.
No, I'm not necessarily telling you how to do your engineering work. I'm looking for a way to get this connected to 144. That's what I'm looking for. So I've got the beacon side up, just to give a sense of what is there. It is pretty significant road frontage on Old Plank Road, 144.
600 feet.
600 feet of road frontage that offers an opportunity, seems to me. I mean, even running all the way down the eastern side of that property, which would then run all the way down the east side of this property, create a connection between Old Plank Road and 2 Cent Road, and then plat everything out to work from that. Actually solves a problem for Bargersville instead of right now making things worse.
I think what he's saying is I think I agree with what you're saying. You're not telling me exactly how to lay it out necessarily, whether zinc goes vertical and connect, and then you right angle Iron Ridge Lane into it. Hey, Debbie, if you please, yeah, we'll have time, I think, after. We can leave that up. Whether it goes vertical there or whether Platinum goes straight, or you're not
Yeah,
necessarily
no, I'm
saying.
not telling you how to do it. I mean, I
Yeah.
was visualizing 63 and 64.
I think you were asking that.
It may be that Zinc Road just needs to go straight up.
Exactly. And if we do that, I don't want to put it over there and then find out it had to be right in the middle. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I think it probably would take a little bit of thought process. It looks like anything that's going to be developed north is going to be kind of at a right angle anyway, if it's commercial, probably. So going up Zinc might be the best option instead of splitting it, but.
I think what we continually hear is feasibility.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Impact.
Right. So I don't think we're gonna this is what the recurring theme is, feasibility, finance. Okay, so I don't have any questions. I'm-
Ready for a motion?
Yeah, I'm ready for a motion.
Are you going to make a motion?
I will make a motion.
Okay, thank
Mr.
you.
President, I will make a motion for docket plat 000307 2021 Copper Mills primary plat to deny the petitioner Arbor Homes.
We'll second that.
Eric and Tiers, did you hear? We have a motion to deny and a second. Just want to make sure you,
Yes. I
Okay.
heard it.
okay, any questions about the motion? Comments?
Nope.
Okay, seeing none, please vote audibly, starting to my right.
Rowena Umbarger, aye.
Jeff Sickmeyer, aye.
Mark Beal,
James Ramel, aye.
Ruth Ann Moore, aye.
Here's a Martin, aye.
Eric Arnold, aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. Got everybody? Okay, new business, Commerce Grove primary plat findings of fact. And this is not a public hearing.
That's correct. These findings of fact are on page 11 of your packet. They're an item for your approval. And just to be clear, these are findings, we adopt these, when a commission adopts these findings for approved primary plats and primary plats that are also denied. So this is affirming the denial.
That helped me with Joe. He explained that to me.
So just to make that clear that it's like, this isn't saying the amended primary plat is approved from plat 350-2021. This is adopting findings that that plat was denied and that plat 334-2021 is still effective.
Okay. Would like to make a motion?
I would move to approve the findings of fact for plat 350-2021 Commerce Grove. Primary plat findings of fact.
Second.
Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, starting to my right audibly.
Rowena Umbarger, aye.
Jeff Sickmeyer, aye.
Mark Beal,
James Ramel, aye.
Ruth Ann Moore, aye.
Here's a Martin, aye.
Eric Arnold, aye.
Thank you. 7-0. Monthly Development Department project update.
We've got that in your packet. Happy to answer any particular questions you may have. If not, I will turn it over to Joe.
Just quick, we're getting to that time of year where spring conferences are being scheduled. Currently, the American Planning Association Indiana chapter has their spring conference scheduled for Friday, March 18th. I have agendas for you all. They have an in-person option to attend at Ball State University or a virtual option. I'll give you out these agendas, and if anyone's interested, please let us know. We will get you registered and cover your registration fee for that conference.
Are you going to email that?
Are you
I
good?
will, yes.
We can forward it to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is this one for each other?
Yeah, one. Completely up to your discretion.
No, I'm sorry. Let's get, we want to get finished up. I don't want to dive back into that. We've made a motion, pass it, and moved on. If you want to have any other, if you want to call anybody or talk to staff afterwards, that's fine. But we've moved on, the public's done, we voted, so. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anything else from a standpoint of discussion items? Anything?
Sure.
Motion to adjourn? Motion to
I
adjourn.
will make a motion after.
Motion adjourned,
Second.
seconded. Meeting's adjourned, thank you.
There's Eric.
Okay.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.